Hello guys, and welcome back to another true crime video. I'm sitting on the edge of my bed right now because this little guy has decided to break on me. So yeah, sorry for the weird angle. Anyway, welcome back to another true crime video, and today's video is going to be about kids who have killed their parents. Now, I have so many names for this. I can do literally part 100 if you want me to, but I wanted to focus on little girls who killed their parents, because women serial killers or women killers are so much more less common, if that makes sense. Either that's because they've not been caught yet, or they are just less heard of. I couldn't find a proper statistic on it for you guys, but they're pretty unique. So that's why I wanted to focus on girls who murdered their parents, because that is extremely unheard of, but it does happen, unfortunately. So I asked what you guys wanted to see, because I did have it all in my notes, and I'm not even kidding on. There was so many different answers. There was some suggestions that weren't like on my notes, which I have totally taken into account, by the way. I'm definitely going to start working on them quite soon, along with some Christmas kind of theme true crime. So I'm really excited for that. I did that last year. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any Christmas cases you want me to cover, make sure you comment them down below. And I think I will start working on the other suggestions and what people wanted from the little notes, because I have so many cases and stuff for them that I want to cover and share with you guys. So yeah, enjoy today's video and stay tuned for more. The Bathtub Girls, Sandra Anderson and Beth Anderson, aged only 15 and 16 when they murdered their mom, Linda, who was a depressed single mom with a heavy drinking problem, who worked 2 jobs to keep their family afloat. But Sandra and Beth did not think that she was doing enough for them and their stepbrother. They felt entitled for expensive things and wanted a quick change. All of their names are changed because they were so young when they committed this horrible crime. Based on police reports, the sisters Sandra and Beth were tired of Linda wasting their money on alcohol instead of things that their friends had, such as clothes and swimming pools. At ages 16 and 15, the girls decided that they would get insurance money if their mother died and began to research ways to kill her. Police found 14,000 hits on their computer's hard drive for keywords of drowning, also codeine and bathtub. If their mother would die, they would both get $68,000 each. They even worked out how they would spend this money by taking all their friends on a big European vacation, buying a marijuana farm, and having a nice house. The guidance counselor mentioned these girls were the smartest kids she had ever worked with within her 30 years of teaching. They both spoke 5 different languages. For a teenage killing, this one had way more planning than usual, which makes the girls extremely dangerous. They even shared their plans with their friends, who helped for months to plan the murder of their mother. The friends never contacted the police or told their parents. The murder took place on January 18, 2003, when the sisters started giving Linda alcohol at lunchtime to make sure she got as drunk as possible. They also gave her 6 Tylenol tablets to help slow her heartbeat down more and make her easier to subdue. The girls filled up the bathtub and helped their mother lay down, as she was having some trouble due to the alcohol and medication. The sisters then put on gloves to hide fingerprints and started giving Linda a massage. As they waited for the drug to work, the teens go online to update their friends about the murder plans. Their friend finished the conversation by saying, "Good luck. Wear gloves." After a few minutes, Sandra asked her mother to turn onto her stomach to clean her back, but instead she pulled her head underneath the water and released her head after about 4 minutes, at this point Linda was dead. Whilst waiting to discover their mother, Beth and Sandra had dinner with their friends at a local restaurant to celebrate. When they got home, they called 911, saying they found their mother and were instructed to perform CPR. They pretended to follow directions and cried over the phone when they told the 911 operator they could not resuscitate the mother. Their plan was initially successful as investigators determined Linda died from drowning. The autopsy found a great deal of alcohol as well as acetaminophen and codeine in her system. The girls bragged about the murder to their friends and said it wasn't as bad as they thought it would be. But the older sister, Sandra, couldn't keep her mouth shut. She brags about killing her mother to all these people that she met at parties, and eventually the police cracked the secret pact and a friend of them agreed to wear a wire, while Sandra Anderson confessed to killing her mother. Both sisters were convicted in first-degree murder, but under the Canadian law, they only got 10 years. However, they only served just 4 years. With basically a clean slate, as they still remain anonymous today, they're both in their mid-20s and were working towards completing higher degrees. Sandra received a scholarship for $2,000, while Beth moved to Ottawa where she hoped to apply to school. "34-year-old Nikki Whitehead was stabbed to death by her own 16-year-old twin daughters, Jas and Taz Whitehead, on January 13, 2010. The mother and her daughters were living in Conyers, Georgia at the time the stabbing occurred, but they had spent 12 years prior living with Nikki's grandmother, located about 20 miles away. Nikki wanted to move her daughters to Conyers, Georgia to provide them with a better life. But Jas and Taz were not happy about this. The girls' relationship with their mother had soured since the two entered high school. Jas and Taz felt that Nikki was too strict, and they began to resent her for that. Nikki felt that the girls were always challenging her and found herself taking away their phones and other privileges quite often. Police were called to the home numerous times prior to the murder. One night, Nikki frantically called 911 after Jas had snuck out in the middle of the night to meet her boyfriend. Another night, during yet another blowout between the girls and the mother, Nikki called the police again. This time, Jas and Taz told the officers that they wanted to go back living with their great-grandmother, where the rules were more relaxed. A police officer spoke with the girls and their mother at their home for a few hours that night, and things appeared to calm down after that. The twins told Officer Scruggs that they were just going to let it go and call the great-grandmother the following morning. Still, the police officer had a bad feeling after leaving their home that evening, so she decided to remain at their house for a little bit longer. Less than 5 minutes after the police officer left, Nikki came screaming and running outside with a cordless phone in her hand. The police officer ran back to the home and was told by Nikki that the girls had attacked her. The twins claimed they had done so in self-defense after Nikki was being physically abusive towards them. However, the police officer noticed that Nikki had scratches on her neck and chest while the girls remained unmarked. The twins were taken into custody that night and charged with assaulting their mother. The girls, along with their mother, were ordered by a court to undergo counseling. Even after this, the conflicts between the twins and their mother continued. One afternoon, on January 13, 2010, the girls called 911 frantically and told dispatchers that they found their mother dead in a blood-soaked bath. When the police officers arrived on scene, they discovered that Nikki had been stabbed to death over 80 times, and her spinal cord was nearly severed. Upon the discovery of Nikki's body by police, the twins were placed in an ambulance, where one officer noticed that Taz was biting herself on the arm. When she asked why she was doing this, Taz simply replied that was something she does when she gets upset. When being questioned about their mother's murder, the girls reportedly cried a lot, but according to investigators, their cries were tearless. Additionally, when they were asked to describe their mother, they were both very insulting towards her, despite the fact that she had just been brutally murdered. Investigators grew very suspicious of the girls, and especially since they were both caught in a bunch of lies about what they did that day. At this time, though, the investigators only had circumstantial evidence, so the girls were released to their great-grandmother. In the following 4 months, investigators gathered more physical evidence, and during this time, they discovered that Nikki's teeth actually matched the bite mark on Taz's arm. It was believed that Nikki bit her in self-defense. They began to realize that Taz was likely biting her arm in the ambulance that evening to cover up the bite mark from her mother. Additionally, Nikki had a strand of human hair stuck between her teeth that belonged to Taz. Investigators also found a journal in the home that revealed that the girls had a premeditated plan to kill their mother. Jazz and Taz were finally arrested and charged with their mother's murder in May 2010. Both eventually confessed to attacking their mother and that morning before leaving her in the bathtub to die while they went to school. They accepted a plea deal and were sentenced to 30 years in prison, where they remain today. Okay, that is the end of today's video, guys, and honestly, I did not mean for them to match with the bathtub kind of theme, but anyway. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment what you would like to see next, and if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers before Christmas. Thanks, guys.